Hello everyone, today we're talking about a new data display, box and whisker plots. So if you remember this, I drew a little picture of it to remind you of what it is. And here's all the details. It's a data display that organizes data into 4 groups. So here's some steps on how to do this. So the first thing we have to do with box and whisker plots is to put the numbers in order. Step 2, we need to find the median. Step 3, we need to split into a lower half and an upper half. And this is where these definitions come in handy. But notice that we will have more steps. So if you want to leave some space, that's okay. So we're talking about the lower half and the upper half. We have a lower quartile, which is the median of the lower half. So once you split it into 2 parts, lower half, upper half, you're going to then take the median of the lower half and to find your lower quartile. Another name is the first quartile. And then you find the median of your upper half. That gives you your upper quartile, and that's the third quartile. Another name for median is the second quartile. So we have 3 quartiles. The first one is the lower median of the lower half. The second one is the median of all the data. And then the third one is the median of the upper half. So again, we put numbers in order, find the median, split into lower half and upper half, and then we find our first and third quartiles, the median of the lower and the median of the upper. Then we're ready to go. Once we have that information, we have everything we need. So we make a number line that has to do with the data. That's step 5. And lastly, step 6 is make a box and whisker plot. So none of this is going to make sense until we actually do it. Make sure you have all this down. Okay. That might fall. That would stink. Okay, so ignoring what we already have here, looking here. Okay, cool. So example 1, make a box and whisker plot of the ages of 8 family members. So here's our ages. We have someone is 60, someone's 15, someone is 25, someone is 20, someone is 55, someone is 70, someone is 40, and someone is 30. So we're going to use this data of 8 family members, their ages, and we're going to make a box and whisker plot. So step 1 said, put the numbers in order. So putting them in order, that's 15, 20, 25, 30, 40, 55, 60, and 70. Step 2 says find the median. So there are 8 family members, so the median isn't one of these data values. It's in the middle. In the middle of 30 and 40 is 35. So my median is 35. Cool. Now we need to split it into upper and lower halves because my median is not used. It's not in my upper or lower half. So I have it here, but it is not in it. So my lower half is the 15, 20, 25, and 30. My upper half is 40, 55, 60, and 70. Then step 3, no, that was step 3. Step 4 says to find the median of the lower half. So the median is the middle number in between 20 and 25, and that's 22.5. The median of the upper half, the third quartile, is in between 55 and 60, which is 57.5. So now I have my bits of information that I need. I need the lowest number, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the largest number. And that is the 5 bits of data that I make my box and whisker plot. So now I make a number line, and I'm going, my lowest is 15, my highest is 70. So I made a number line that went by 5s from 10 to 75. Then my lowest number is 15, so my whisker goes out to 15. So what I do is I go underneath 15 and I just make a point. Then my lower quartile is 22.5. That's in between 20 and 25. So I made another point there, and I draw a straight line from 15 to 22.5, and then I make a box starting with that lower quartile. My median is 35. That's the middle bar of the box. My upper quartile is 57.5. That's in between 55 and 60. And that's my last part of the box. And then my whisker My outside whisker, my other one, is 70, my greatest value. I connect those. I make an outside box of my 3 quartiles, my first, second, and third. So my whiskers are like the extremes. They're my maximum and minimum. And then my quartiles are these 3 numbers. And I always write the number that it is here so that it's really easy and really clear. You have to have a number line too. Okay. So almost done. Now we need to interpret box and whisker plots. So I just drew an example here. Quickly draw this example. We have a number line. I went by tens from 0 to 50. And then I have a box and whisker plot that has a lower quartile of 10, an upper quartile of 30, a median of 22, and my largest number is 50, and my smallest number is 0. So interpreting, we need to know some things. We are split into 4 sections. My first section is my whisker. My second section is this part of the box, right, from my first quartile, my second quartile. My third section is right here from my median to my third quartile. And then my last section is right here, and that makes up the entire thing. So if 25% of the data is in between 0 and 10. Another 25% of the data is in between 10 and 22. And then maybe 22 to 30 is another 25%, and 22 to 50 is the last 25%. So this doesn't make sense because from 30 to 50, that's 20 numbers, and then from 22 to 30, that's 8 numbers, but that's what it is. If this is on teacher supplies, maybe teachers spend on average every month about this amount. So maybe one teacher on average spends nothing. And then maybe another teacher spends about $50 every month. And then maybe, all in between is all our other teachers, right? So this could be data about that or a million other things. So another thing to know is an interquartile range. Write this definition. Interquartile range is the third quartile minus the first quartile. That's also the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So UQ is upper quartile, LQ is lower quartile. So in this case, my lower quartile is 10, my upper quartile is 30, so 30 minus 10 is 20. So my interquartile range for this one is 20. Last thing, my question is, what percent of teachers spend less than $30 a month on school supplies? So remember, we said this data is about school supplies. So spend less than $30. Well, here's $30. What percent of teachers do that? Well, you've got 25, 25, and 25. That's 3 sections. So 75% of teachers, if this is real, I made this up, spend $30 a month on school supplies. Okay? And there's more questions we can ask. Just be ready for those questions. And that's the biggest thing to take from this, is understanding that your data is split into 4 groups, and 25% of the data is in each of those groups. Okay? All right, cool.